evening, everyone. I'll call this Board of Alderman meeting to order. If you please rise and join us for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, can I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Bowman.
Present.
Alderman Bockelman. Here. Alderman Reese. Here. Alderman Milner is absent. Alderman Nickerson. Here. Alderman Long.
Here.
Alderman Turner.
Here.
Alderman Levison.
Here.
And Mayor Hassick.
Here, and we do have a quorum. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we do not have any ceremonial matters. So at this time, I will open the floor to public participation. Anybody who has anything to bring before this board that is not on our already scheduled agenda, please feel free to step forward at this time. Seeing no one, I will close public participation and move on to the approval of the minutes. Tonight we have the minutes from the May 21st Board of Alderman meeting.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Levison. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Moving on to our agenda items. First tonight we have some reappointments for the Park Board. I want to point out, before this went out, I didn't get a chance to talk with Happy. Phil Rogers has actually moved outside of city limits now since he was appointed. It was close enough to the end of his term. We let him serve it out, so we need to scratch his name off there because you need to be a resident to serve on the Park Board. So the two we have are our reappointment of Kathy Ferris and David Atkinson tonight.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion from Alderman Bowman and a second from Alderman Reese. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, appointment's approved. Item B, surplus vehicle sales.
I wanted to pass on to the board that we have a number of vehicles that we'll be putting on eBay here soon. The biggest item is the GMC C7500. It's a rescue truck, or better known, I hear recently, it's called the Pepsi truck, because it's got doors on the side that open up. It's not really functional for the fire department, the way they use the rescue trucks anymore. Mostly it's a rescue pumper is what you want. So this rescue truck is just sitting there, it's not being used. It says less than 20,000 miles on it. I mean, it's, how many?
7,800 miles.
7,800 miles. We just don't use it. So we want to put it on eBay and sell it. We figure it'll be over $15,000 for it to, what it'll probably get. If it's over that, then the board will have to approve it as part of our purchasing policy. The rest of what we have is, you know, under $5,000. A lot of police cars. We'll have some other trucks coming in for public works. We'll do some changing there. We'll have some other trucks, but most of it's going to be old equipment that we're trying to get rid of. So I just wanted to make the board aware that if you're interested, it'll be on eBay here soon.
So anybody's eligible to purchase these?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions on that?
Are they not putting them on Purple Wave? It's gonna be on eBay, you said?
Yeah, we did eBay for the ambulances the last time and got some really good prices, so I think we're gonna stay with that.
Huh? Fill it up with Pepsi.
There you go, Clint. Buy your truck and put Pepsi in it. Oh, park it out behind the shop. You'd be good to
Been
go.
outside for a while.
Probably not big enough.
Probably not.
All right, moving on. We have the repair of the 310J backhoe. Mr. Patterson.
Good evening. About 2 weeks ago, we had the transmissions start malfunctioning in our backhoe. So we called a tow truck to bring it up. And just so you know, it's about a $300 tow bill every time you tow it from one place to another. But we had it sent up to the John Deere dealer. Transmission is bad. They rebuilt it. They gave us a price to rebuild it. And all said and done, we're just under $16,000. We didn't shop around for bids because to actually diagnose the problem, you have to pull the transmission. that's $2,500, whether they fix it or not. So it didn't seem to make sense to us to pay them $2,500 and pay another dealer $2,500. And it's still a new enough machine, it really should be repaired by an authorized John Deere repair person. So obviously, we've already spent the money.
Well,
just-
kind of an emergency, that's our.
It is.
That's our backhoe, and we
We're-
lose service if we don't have that, so.
Correct. So,
Did they give a pretty good warranty on it?
I tell you the truth, I couldn't remember, it's probably not, it's probably 6 months, something.
I'm guessing those don't get good warranties anyway, just because of what they're used for.
Right.
And we're actually pretty light use on them,
Police key or something.
yeah. I don't.
Something's gonna break in the I've been in the transmission, something's gonna break.
Well,
From it not doing it correctly, it's gonna happen pretty quick, so that's why I was asking.
yeah, no, I'm sure it's not more than 6 months.
Like I said, it's gonna mess up faster than that if someone didn't do it correctly.
We use it,
When did we buy it?
it is, I think, almost 10 years old, which we try and keep them, I think, 12 to 15 years. And then they get rolled down to the street department, which is, by the way, what we're using, so that one's about 25 years old. And it's seen better days,
Okay.
so.
All right.
I don't know, I guess we still need a vote to
Yeah,
go ahead and.
yeah, any questions on this? It does need a vote to approve, even though it's, again, this is one of those, you got it done, it's done after the fact, but.
So is the $2,500 diagnostic fee, is that?
That's
already-
part of that 16.
It's part of the 15 already?
Yeah,
Okay. So I would just, that's what I was wanting to know, make sure what.
yeah, the total price is at 15,804.81.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
A motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Turner to approve. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right,
Thank you.
yes. All right, next we have second reading, Council Bill 37.
Second reading, Council Bill 37, ordinance ratifying ordinance number 3434 that amended section 205, article 5, fireworks of the Harrisonville Code of Ordinances, reaffirming the amended language and establishing an effective date.
All right, and I think we've been over this enough since we're just ratifying something we already had been over. We had a little discussion on last time, so I think we need to just have a roll call.
Excuse me, Alderman Dickerson,
Aye.
Alderman Long,
Aye.
Alderman Bowman,
No.
Alderman Bockelman, Alderman Turner,
Aye.
Alderman Reese,
No.
and Alderman Milner, absent.
You missed
Alderman
one.
Lee, sorry, Alderman Livingston.
Aye.
All right, and Council Bill 37 will become ordinance 03441. Council Bill 38.
Council Bill 38, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to execute a memorandum of understanding with Mid-American Nazarene University to provide discount tuition for approved courses and programs for employees and their immediate family.
We took this to our personnel committee for their review. Mid-America sent us a packet saying they would like to have a memorandum of understanding with the city to offer to the employees and their immediate families a discount, 10% discount for tuition at the school, and they would waive some fees. Being that we like to offer benefits for employees, we looked at this, kind of sat on it for a while, and then took it to the personnel committee, just to get an opinion from others to say, does this look like a good deal or something else? The committee felt it looked good, that it was something that we could offer the employees. They have the choice of going wherever they want, but if there's a particular degree that the school offers, that they will offer their discount, this is a chance for the employee or their immediate family to make or to get a benefit that may not be offered to others. John Fairfield and I talked about it, there were some concerns, and I think we've tried to address those based on what the memorandum says.
Basically, my concern was, one, that we would have essentially some control over what is disseminated to employees. In other words, the agreement was a little bit broad about things coming in, and they've acknowledged that. My other concern was that they don't use this
as an advertisement that the city's endorsing them. And we got assurances that they would never do that, and that they would, if we had any concerns about any of the materials or the language in the materials, that we would have control. We could call them and get that taken care of in a certain way. So with those considerations taken care of, we felt more comfortable with the MOU.
And if any other school would come to us with this type of offer, we would entertain it the same as Mid-American Nazarene.
That's my
because
question.
Yeah, because I think it would be, again, it's a benefit for the employees.
Right, and we couldn't say yes to one and no to the
Right,
others,
right.
because then we would look, yeah.
At some point, if it got out of hand, where we had all these schools wanting to offer it to us, we might have to figure out a way to combine that information and then disseminate it to the employees, but at this point, I think we can handle it.
We have tuition reimbursement as one of our employee benefits.
Yeah.
Does that apply to this?
It will be, this is just an additional benefit to that.
So the 10% still applies, the 10% discount still
Right.
applies?
Right.
And have we notified other schools and other entities that we're willing to entertain this type of training for our employees?
At this point, we have not, because I was waiting for the board to approve this. I mean, we could send that information out. I figured that it would get out at some point, that the city has done this, and other schools, if they want to offer something like that, would contact us.
They approached us, correct?
Correct. The way we think about this is that they had a student from the city that is going there, and they wanted to offer a discount, but this was last fall. We just didn't feel comfortable signing on immediately, but I think that's how it came about.
So does this only apply to the full-time employees, or does this also apply to the part-time?
If, it would depend on what Mid-American Nazarene wants to allow. I would think you wouldn't offer it to seasonal, but you might offer it to regular part-time.
Yeah, well, when I looked through the MOU, you gotta have you sign off by department head and stuff on it with the letterhead, so I mean,
So we could apply it to
So, I mean-
part-time,
so, I mean-
part-time.
so that's what I was curious if we were just offering full-time and part-time too.
I think we would with regular part-time, we wouldn't just with seasonal or, summer help.
Yeah, there's no cost to us, so I mean, it's not like it's,
How would it affect us if we did offer it to our kids that work at the pool all
Yeah.
summer and then they wanted to go? So, I mean, it wouldn't hurt us, as long as they're okay with it,
Yeah.
correct? Okay.
yeah, because they're not charging us anything.
Right.
It's not like they say you pay a set fee and then you'll get this discount, so.
It's just a benefit.
Yeah, well, it's just students must submit an employer verification, you know, and then it'll be signed by the HR or the department head, which is functional. That's what I didn't know.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? Okay, it's a resolution, so
Make a motion to approve.
Second?
a motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Levison for approval. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 38 will become Resolution R21. Council Bill 39.
Council Bill 39, a resolution of the Board of Alderman of the City of Harrisonville, Missouri, approving the fireworks display in the city park on July 4th, 2018.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
This is the normal, every year, resolution that we have for the fireworks display. The department head, the Parks Director, Chris Steele, went there, attempted to get bids from several different places, and of course, Walt Company comes in with the only bid. The same guy that shoots every year, Greg Price, is a licensed pyrotechnics expert, per se, both federally and state. In your packet that I sent to everybody, it basically states that he puts in there a number of how many shots he's gonna shoot from various sizes all the way down. He normally throws in a couple of displays on the lake, like for everybody that's been there before. I've asked him, and I'll ask him again this year, to move his blast containers farther back towards the back side of the lake. We got a couple complaints a couple years ago about being a little too hot for him up towards the front, so he wants more. He agreed to move them a few feet back farther, and that type of thing, but Again, like I said, the night of the display, we'll go out and inspect his site, make sure he's safe, and like I said, it's 10, 12 years, so long he's been doing it, he's been pretty safe with it all along.
Okay, any questions?
Have we ever had other bids for the fireworks display other
Not,
than Wall?
not since I've taken over. I don't know.
Director Deal,
I'm sorry, what was the question?
have we ever had other bids for our fireworks display other than Mr. Wall?
I believe there was in the past, but not since I've been here for 7 years. There's been no alternate bids. And we've put this in the newspaper as well as on our website and listed, but we have not had any alternate bids.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion from Alderman Turner,
A second.
second from Alderman Levison. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 39 will become Resolution R22, Council Bill 40.
Council Bill 40, a resolution pursuant to Chapter 103 Administration, Section 103.010, Personnel Rules and Regulations, establishing and approving a new personnel policy for the city of Harrisonville, Missouri, and establishing an effective date.
We have an updated Council Bill number 40, I handed out. That just changed some of the whereas language, did not change any of the section language, clarified the exhibit. I sent you 3 attachments. One was the exhibit that was clean, the second was the current personnel policy, and the third was the new personnel policy with highlights showing the changed areas. We took this to the committee, Finance Personnel Committee was good with it. I have not had anybody ask me any questions about it in particular. Staff has had a chance to review it, so we're bringing it to the board for approval.
Okay. Questions, concerns?
I have a question. We came under some scrutiny a few months ago over the Martin Luther King, the fact that we were open and other cities were closed. Can you tell us, was staff offered the opportunity in this particular development of this policy to choose which holiday they wanted to observe? I remember when the news media was here and they questioned you, Mr. Mayor, about the fact that we did not observe Martin Luther King. I believe you made a comment that we might need to take a look at that it might be outdated. I just wondered, did we take a look at it, and did staff, and department heads or staff have the opportunity to select a floating holiday, or that they wanted a holiday and they wanted to work Martin Luther King? Was staff consulted?
We did not consult staff. We took it to the committee and said, here are the dates for holidays. How do you want to pursue this? How would you like to move it forward? And the agreement on the committee was send it to the board as is.
What was the discussion on the committee? Since I'm not on that committee, I wasn't at the meeting, can you kind of summarize for us what the discussion was about the Martin Luther King holiday?
I would want to check the
I don't
minutes.
think we had a specific discussion about it because they gave the list of holidays and, you know, you had, I think I had maybe 1 or 2 people message me about it. But I can say I had at least a dozen employees blast me as I came through the door about how much they enjoy the current holiday schedule, and the way it was explained to me is that you have New Year's Eve or New Year's Day off in January, and then you turn around 2 weeks later and have another holiday. They would rather have a holiday, they have, I believe it's Good Friday is kind of what they're looking at as the trade-off. Good Friday or the day after Thanksgiving or Christmas, there's an extra day at Christmas, and then I guess, yeah, I mean, President's Day would be one. And what it was told to me was the logic behind why they chose it that way was they didn't want 2 days so close together for a day off. So I have not been contacted by one employee that said, I wanted, you know, yeah, I would like to see us consider changing this, doing this. So it was kind of one of those, it was not a, you know, other than the news, it wasn't a squeaky wheel, so we didn't pursue anything at this point.
I guess I just wish we would have consulted staff since we did that the last time, but that's fine. That's kind of finished. That's all, thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Eric.
Yes.
I can tell you, I did talk to Public Works staff, and it was overwhelming in favor of keeping it the way it is.
Or-
I was
or
gonna say,
wait a minute.
I think I was at that,
Use your mic, Clint, make sure you use your mic.
I think I was at that meeting and maybe it was you that said that they would rather work they would rather work and not give up another holiday in trade. Of the people that you had talked to.
Yes.
So basically, as a city, we would have to agree to give them an extra holiday day,
You'd have
an
to
extra
give them
work
an
day,
extra day.
or
If
an
you
extra
didn't-
day to have off.
Yeah, if you didn't take away,
Right.
you would have to add one,
We'd
which
have
would
to
be-
add one, so
yeah.
really that would be our decision at that point, it's not really theirs, it's, you know, if they wanna keep what they have, we would have to decide to give them another holiday.
Correct, which they already have 11.
Right, and I'm not saying we should either
No,
way,
I'm just pointing
saying-
out how many they have, and.
Right.
And so that's where
Right.
they're at now, so, yeah.
I
Right.
thought we had talked where they said that if they felt like that it wouldn't be, it wouldn't be counted against them, they could use it as a sick day or something. It's kinda coming back to me.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either, and I was at that meeting.
No, I think it was just a matter of, I mean, again, last time I think they basically sent out, here's a list of them, of the holidays, and they took the most popular holidays. And again, I know I got approached by at least a dozen employees here just in City Hall, and they came to me and said, hey, we don't take away our, they were thinking we were gonna change it, and I said, well, we haven't even discussed it yet, so I don't know what's gonna happen.
Maybe I'm thinking of them coming to the shop, you know, they come to the shop, whatever, maybe they said something to me there, but I know somewhere, something was said by someone, I don't remember who. Let's just blame it on Happy.
I second that.
That's the default.
He already was the administrator to take the fall, so I would blame him.
So how does it affect the bottom line if we were to do another holiday? And I'm not saying we should either way, I'm just saying, how does it affect the bottom line? I mean, how does it hurt the city?
We never pursued finding out how much.
Okay.
I'll have to ask him.
Okay,
check with
well,
Faith
maybe
and
that's
see.
something, if they don't wanna give it up, you know, they like, and I don't blame them, probably every single holiday that they now currently have, they'd like to keep, those are a lot of family holidays. So having an extra Monday off doesn't affect their lives near as much as having those longer weekends, family time during around Christmas and stuff. So my thing is, if we wanna explore that, then maybe we need to explore how it affects the city if we were to add in another holiday.
I mean, if you add another holiday, it essentially affects, you're paying with no services being
Exactly,
provided.
so
that's
I'm
what-
saying,
Mhm.
if we're gonna explore it, then that's the way we need to explore it, because they obviously don't wanna give up that day.
Well, it's not just that, because you also you're paying hours for police and fire, because they're working it.
Yeah.
So they get those holidays.
Right, right, right.
How many holidays do other cities in our area award their employees?
What I've seen is about 11. We're about normal,
Have you researched that, or is that just kind of off the cuff?
just off a couple of the cities I've looked at, in cities I've looked at.
Mhm, but not cities in our area?
Right.
Correct.
So that's something we can explore then. Okay.
Yeah. The lemon theory, follow everyone else off the cliff.
Right, follow everyone, no. I mean, it is a fair question, you know, what is everybody else doing? Not saying we should do it, I'm just saying, how does it affect our bottom line? What does it look like? I mean, the lady that complained on the news, I don't know who it was, but she was coming to pay a bill. So she complained about us being open, which made no sense to me.
She came up here.
She came up here to pay a
Yeah.
bill.
No, I agree, I mean,
Yeah, I mean-
you're surprised it's open, but yet you came here to pay.
Right, you were obviously glad we were,
Yeah,
so, right,
so.
so anyway,
Well, I think we also need to consider, you know, how does the community feel,
right,
you know, about honoring Martin Luther King by being closed on his birthday as opposed to being open as any other normal day. And I think we need to consider the staff, and we also need to consider the community, and perhaps we do need to research this a little bit further.
Anytime you add more holidays to the employees, the bottom line is it's costing the taxpayers of this city
right,
to pay them to be off.
right,
Actually-
And that's a sizable amount of money. I said, we
Right.
don't have the exact figures, but I'd say it was What do you think, Happy, $100,000?
Oh, I don't think it's that much.
Okay.
Right, but I'm just saying, we should look at all of that, and if we're gonna have citizens complain about that, and they're willing to pay for everybody's day off, then, you know.
Well, there's
Just saying.
another side to it that people miss is your, how does closing honor somebody if you're open? I mean, I thought about this after the fact, why don't we have a proclamation that we read honoring Martin Luther King?
There you go.
You know, you can have employees wear a button saying, you know, honoring, you know, do something different to honor his memory as opposed to everybody, oh, well, let's just close and then.
Right,
you
not
know,
all schools closed, I mean, I remember when I was a kid, we weren't closed, but we,
the
if we
grocery
would have taken
holiday.
the day off, we probably wouldn't have learned as much about him as we did being there at school.
Yep.
And there's a lot of people that have a lot of jobs and they work on Martin Luther King. So I do think that that's something that we can explore, but I don't think that it's something that, you know, until we ask how everybody feels about it, you know, that we need to rush to, because we have pressure from the news media.
Exactly. Okay, any other questions or comments concerning the policy? Again, this was one of those, this was something that came up in the state audit that needed to be addressed, and so this will be another,
This is actually, was brought to me when I
Well,
started.
there were some items within there, I believe, that fell within the, let's put it that way, that fall within that. So we were able to address some state audit concerns with the revision, which it was needed anyway. All right,
Make a motion to approve.
a motion from Alderman Dickerson.
Second.
And a second from Alderman Turner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And Council Bill 4-0 become Resolution R23. All right, that is it for our agenda tonight. Alderman committee reports. Alderman Billman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to acknowledge what a great day it was Saturday for Customer Appreciation Day at our animal shelter. We are so fortunate to have the quality of animal shelter that we have and staff that really care about the pets and animals that are picked up in the city. I was real pleased. There was a nice turnout. The Franklins were there, and I don't know if you bid on any of the silent auction items, but I did, and I won one. I know Alderman Turner had been there earlier in the day. Did you bid on a silent
Yeah,
auction?
we've been on a few, but I think Dennis outbid us, I think.
But it was a
Good job,
great
Dennis.
day, and I was really pleased with the turnout of citizens, and certainly am pleased with the care that the staff gives to animals in our area. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Bachman. Alderman Reese.
Nothing.
All right, Alderman Dickerson.
Nothing?
Alderman Long.
I'm good.
Alderman Turner.
Again, the Harrisonville shelter, it was a fun experience. Had a lot of people. I guess there's more people this year than the last couple of years combined. I mean, had a good turnout. The weather was great. And the kids liked it and stuff. We took our dog there and got her toenails clipped and stuff.
Did you take any animals home with you?
No. We took our dog with us and we took her home with us. No extras. And then also, this Saturday is the youth fishing derby. It's at the city park. It's free to all youth, and it's the free fishing weekend. First 400 get a free fishing pole and tackle box.
I got hot dogs.
And they got hot dogs, drinks, chips. There's also gonna be a little archery range. You can shoot a bow, crossbow. They even had pellet guns before. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff going on and come out and watch, help. It's the biggest fishing derby in the state and stuff put on by the Elks, so it keeps growing every year. So that's Saturday morning, I think, 8.
I heard him say they have 400 fishing poles to give away
Yes.
this year.
Yeah,
Yes.
it used to be like 200, I
Well-
think, a couple of years ago, so it's really good.
We started out with 200 and then, 250, 300, and now we're at 400. They get fishing pole and tackle box. If you have a pole, bring it, and then you can be entered for a $100 gift card at Walmart. Rather than receive a new pole and tackle box, you can,
My daughter still has her pole from about 3 or 4 years ago, and it still works just fine, so.
she can bring it, and then she'll be entered for a $100 gift card. So, and we got prizes throughout, too, so.
Alderman Lees.
I got nothing.
Mr. Welch.
On the update, item number 4, Marcella had a follow-up with Todd Schuler with the State Auditor's Office. He asked for some additional information. So we sent that paperwork in. They still have not scheduled a time to come back down and do a re-audit, so we're still waiting for that. We figure that'll be in the next couple of weeks. And here is the tentative budget schedule. Take one and pass it on. We will have our work session in 2 weeks. This has some questions in here for you to consider on the departments, if there are certain things you'd like to see done, things for the employees. And I have tentative up there, because you never know if I got the dates right, and there are some dates that we need to look at for like MML. It's supposed to be a board night that week, but there will be a number of board members that aren't available. It will be important to have that meeting, so we'll have to look at rescheduling that. So take a look at those, we can just talk about that at the next meeting. That's all I got.
All right. We got several items tonight. First off, remind everyone that this weekend is the hazardous waste drop-off, Saturday from 8 to noon, down at the street shed down on South Independence. Also want to remind people, you may have noticed this week your trash was one day behind. It was a holiday week. Always be sure you put your can out on your normal day. If it's not picked up that day and it's a holiday week, there's probably a very good chance they take that holiday. But I know mine usually is Thursday, Friday they were there to pick everything up like usual. I know we had a few calls, people were concerned that their trash didn't get picked up. Not saying that there can't be some get missed when there's a holiday week, but try to keep that in mind. Happy to mention the state audit follow-up. I've had some people ask for some updates, and we try to give updates at the meetings of things that we've addressed that were from the state audit, but once we get that follow-up visit and they have given us the follow-up report, we will put something out to update everybody on how we're doing on addressing those findings that we had. Several of us will be at the MML conference this week. We're going to Columbia. It's the Learners Conference that they have every year. It's a good refresher for those who have been in office, and it's a good one for those who are new. So that's Thursday and Friday. Farmers Market started this last weekend. It's 8 to noon, I believe, is the time they open up. They were a little bit late opening this last weekend because of weather, but I heard they had a good turnout. They've actually talked about needing some more, possibly space to expand into, because they're growing, which is good. And then Jump in the Trunk is also this Saturday from 4 to 7. So if you have anything that you need to get rid of, or if you're somebody looking for that hidden treasure, go give them a visit. Should be a nice warm evening, but looks like good weather all weekend. So that's all I have this evening.
Move to adjourn.
We want to deny you your pleasure.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
Motion from Alderman Dickerson and a second from Alderman Turner to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.